Oh shoot. Might need to turn the mic down. Alright, let's see. What is going on, everybody? This is day 3 of making until we make 10K for making Davinci Resolve tools. Let me see if I can log in here. Check this out. Alright, cool. I think we got that. Let me make sure. Good to go. Alright, yeah, cool. I think we're good to go. Let me know if the music's too loud for you. We went ahead and did a thing last night because Claude was like throttling me or something and won't let me use it. Let me just move this to my other viewer real quick. Alright, now I kinda... Nope, that's not working. See if we can figure this out. Give me 1 sec, sorry. Alright, so we got that up. So what we're working on is we're working on a Figma to Davinci Resolve plugin. This is like, this is, oh, careful, Avery. Got my daughter over here. Oh, I need to fix this, fix something in the stream. Real quick. Alright, let me fix this. How do I fix that? Yeah, so what we're working on is a Figma to Davinci Resolve plugin. Oh, we can actually do it over here. Hold on, this is what I was trying to do. So anyways, what was happening yesterday is like Claude was like throttling me or something. So we went ahead and it looks like we also got an update too to download real quick. But we went ahead and I actually purchased a Claude Pro membership because it was pissing me off how it was throttling me and I just wanted to get work done because I continued to do some stuff off stream. So let's jump in here. Whatever. So go over to Claude Code. Let's go ahead and give this an update. So we picked up a Claude membership so that way it's going to make our job a little bit easier because now we can actually link Claude to link it to our files so we don't need to constantly be dragging and dropping things in Claude, which is pretty nice. So let me head in here to plugins, my plugins. Alright, let's select the folder. Yeah, so you can see here I got Claude Code, and I can just literally connect it to my plugins. New Figma, Davinci Resolve V2. So we're gonna go to. I gotta check out my usage real quick because I was going crazy last night and it started blowing out my usage for no reason. So we gotta be careful on that. Anyways, come say hi if you're in the chat. What are you working on? If you're working on something. Alright, let's see. Alright, so let's see what we got so far. Let's go to plugins. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not because we were on the Mac yesterday. Okay. It did work. So I did a little bit of building off stream because we've been stuck at this one spot on this app for a couple days now. And I'm not sure, this could end up taking another couple days just to break through this step. Could take a week. I'm not really sure. We just kind of keep hitting a wall. But basically what I'm trying to do, if anybody has any sort of insight in this, feel free to chip in their 5 cents. But what we're trying to do is, we're trying to split all the layers and like any frame that we give it. And I'm getting an echo. Hold on, I gotta mute myself. Alright, I muted my stream. So basically we're trying to get this so that way it splits all the layers and just regroups them and puts everything into their own group. So we have this doing like 3 different methods to do this right now. So I'll kind of show you the result real quick. So you can see here what happens. So it splits them all into their own different groups. But if we close out this plugin and we actually look at what it's doing, so this is like the original comp. We want to keep it exactly the same way. Like we want it to carry over all the effects from this one into these 3 different versions, or at least one of the methods. It's testing a couple different ways, but you can see that like the picture's missing because it went underneath all this stuff. Some of the text is missing, or the background color changed. Yeah, like this is good, not good, not supposed to be there. We should have some sort of like mask because it was originally in like, it was originally in a frame or something, which was I don't know, keeping it masked so it didn't look like this. Let me know if you can hear my daughter in the background too. She's getting too crazy. She's playing with her toy right now. So yeah, this is where we left off. I'm just gonna kind of do some magic in Claude. Let me see. We had this one, and then tell me how many layers you got. 241. Let's type in 241. And we're gonna split it by 241. Alright, so we copied all that data. I think this is going to be too much for the log for Claude, but we'll find out. We might realistically just burn through a lot of tokens real quick. Bless you. Damn, I think. Oh, we got it. I still think that this is probably going to be too much, maybe. Let me make sure my mic's working properly on here too. Let me know if you can hear me properly or if it's not. We'll just do that. I think that will give us some sound. So let me just make sure. Alright, let me kill the music for a sec. Okay, that's working. Alright, so let's get back to what we're doing. So let me take off one of these groups here. I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. Yeah. Okay, and then maybe we can get rid of some of these lines here too. Is it though? Okay. So we got rid of some of those lines. We're just making this file a little bit smaller so that way when we feed this code into Claude from the tool, it doesn't completely give this like use a massive amount of tokens. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna scan this again, and now we're down to 76 layers, whereas it was like 200 something beforehand. So if we type in 76 here and also type in 76 here, hit generate buttons, get layers, we can now copy this file into Claude and say maybe this is our base file, and then paste that back to Figma, and now let's hopefully this doesn't create a lot. Let's see how much this does first. So test 3 methods. Alright, we got some new people in here. If you're new to the stream, we're creating a Figma to Davinci Resolve plugin. So that way you can push your assets from Figma just quickly, hypothetically with a click of a button, into Davinci. But, you know, if you worked with Figma before, there's a lot of problems when doing that. So we gotta figure out how we can fix all these things and push it over at the same time. So now we got our we got our new methods. Let me see if this has even less layers. Method 2 doesn't really work, so let's just hypothetically say method 3 is working here, and then we'll go ahead and copy this code, but it's 75 layers. Let me make sure that that's accurate. 75. Boom. This how file is turning out. I think we're probably pretty close to our context window if this is going to even accept this output, honestly. Be surprised. Careful. Oh shoot, everybody's scrolling for mad long. Yeah, like I said, this is a huge context window, so even then, I'm gonna see if we can get rid of some more stuff because that's just way too big. So let me see if we can get rid of some of this stuff here. Which was the one we already deleted from? So we got this. And maybe we can get rid of some of these lines. Let me see, because there's more lines that are in the back. That's a vector. Yeah, let's get rid of these ones because there's more information in it. This is just a vector, so though actually though this might have a lot of information in it too, so because it's a vector. So maybe we should no, we'll leave it because we don't have any other vectors in here, so we need some vector stuff as well to make this work. Alright, let me see what has the most stuff in here. Boom. Alright, so it's not going to be either of these two. Let me see if this is a vector real quick. Okay, so that's a vector, so we actually could. Yeah, let me take this off. Let me take this off too. We'll just leave one of these buttons. We're basically just going to be creating a log file for Claude right now. So we're deleting some things to make this simpler for Claude to just give it less data, basically. What is this? I want some images, so we also need this to stay set up the way it is, kind of. Group 1, we didn't touch at all. Oh yeah, we did. Okay. If you're just popping in the stream now, we're creating a Figma to Davinci Resolve plugin. We've been working on this for a couple days. It's kind of like Overlord for After Effects, where you can push in your motion design stuff from Figma into After Effects with the click of a button. But there's nothing like it for Davinci, so we're trying to create something like that. Alright, so that should be enough for that. Now, gonna go ahead and open up the tool. Alright, a lot better. So we got 38 layers now instead of like 200 something that we started with. So 38. Go ahead and make this 38 too. Generate, get layers. This should be a lot less context for Claude now. Still looks like a lot though. I don't know. Let me put this into something like Sublime. It'll tell us how many lines we got. 334,160 characters. How many characters can I type to you? Alright, Avery. Settle down a little bit. So we'd be getting pretty close to our contacts window then. So we're still gonna need to delete some stuff, unfortunately. Let me see. How big of a difference would it be if we just got rid of these lines here? Let me see how much that would be. Alright, so if we get rid of those lines, 36 layers, but that vector could have been taking up a lot of lines, so get layers. This. Oh yeah, yeah, man, that freaking vector was taking up so much space right there. So we're definitely gonna have to delete that. So that's 129 characters. What's going on, guys? If you guys are new here to the stream, we're making a Figma to Davinci Resolve plugin, kind of like Overlord for After Effects, where you can quickly push motion design stuff. Except this one's gonna be for Davinci. We can get this figured out. We've been stuck on a little bit of a problem for a couple days now. But if we can get through this issue, then we'll be headed in the right direction. Alright, so what I think I'm going to do is we're going to split this. So let's go ahead and scan this, and then let's split it with all three methods. Method 2 kind of sucks, so this one just totally doesn't work. Method 3 kind of works for what we're trying to get it to do. We're trying to have it like group things like how it's doing right here right now, where it's like grouping each individual layer. The only issue that we're having is when this is doing the grouping, it's effing up like all the different layers and putting the wrong layers on top of each other. So we need to fix that. So let me go ahead and let me scan this one. "36 layers." Alright. 36 layers. 36. So I'm trying to think of what data I actually need to feed Claude. So should I feed it? Settle down, girly. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna strip feed it a selection, see what happens. So, 33 layers. Hopefully the code can kind of figure this out. What? Thought I typed in 33. 33. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this into Claude. Into code. So the Figma plugin is doing something unexpected, and it's not carrying over the information from the frames that it deleted to the new layers. Here is what that looks like. And just to make sure that this is working properly, let me X that out and reopen this up. So we're gonna scan this one, and then that's 36 layers. Let's make a button for it. So now we got this, and this is how it's supposed to look visually. Hopefully this understands what I'm saying here. But the grouping is correct in the above, which the tool made. Alright, so this is a little bit confusing for me, so hopefully this understands what I'm talking about. Trust workspace. What's going on, guys? If you guys are new to the stream, we're building a Figma to Davinci Resolve plugin. It's kind of like Overlord for After Effects, where you can push motion design assets from Figma straight into Davinci. If you guys are in the chat, feel free to pop in and say hi too. If there's anything that you're working on, you need help on, something that I can help you on with this stream, let me know. Otherwise, we're just waiting for Claude. Let's see. We're probably going to burn a lot of tokens on this one because we just gave Davinci a lot of characters, so I imagine that that's probably going to burn a lot more tokens than usual. Damn. 8 people on here. Nice, guys. If you guys are new here, we are making a Figma to Davinci Resolve plugin, at least hypothetically. We've run into a little bit of an issue in the past couple days that we were working on this. But as soon as we fix that, hopefully everything should be a little bit more smooth sailing from there. I can see the bug clearly. Let me take a look at the specific section where leaf collection and phase 2 dissolving happens. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully we don't burn all the tokens in the process. 8% used. I've been on here for looks like 37 minutes. So, I mean, that's not that bad. I don't know how much of that I was actually on it though. Lot once. The shy type of viewers. I guess we're all the shy type of viewers. I guess not you, man. You're the first person to jump in here, so no problem with that though. If you're just watching along, anyways. You can be the first one to start it up here. What are you working on though, man? You got any projects that you're working on at the moment? The nice thing about Claude Code is too that it'll run all like the terminal commands that we needed as well for us. So then we can literally just refresh this in what's it called? In Figma. Honestly, I don't even think we need to refresh it in Figma. I just kind of do that out of habit. I think it auto reloads. Alright, so let's see how this did. You're killing me, you're killing me. Alright, so we got it all to do all the layers into groups. It's just not maintaining any of that information. And this is the problem that we've been facing for a bit. No, I'm just following you for a time though. Not much knowledge in this type of work. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty new to me too, man. Like I've been using Claude or just recently in the past like couple months maybe. Um but this AI stuff is really heating up. It's no longer just like a text program, like maybe you send like a quick email using it to make yourself sound more professional or whatever. It's actually really good on the coding side of things. Granted, maybe you can't see that from the stream because it keeps running into the same issue, but if I can figure out how to, you still have to feed it like you still have to feed it the problems properly as well and give it. I probably have to give it more context, and I'm trying to figure out what that context is. But I think this is a pretty nice idea, though. Yeah, thanks, man. I thought a lot of people would like it. It's been one of the struggles that I've had with Davinci. It's been one of the biggest ones. So I figured that probably at least somebody out there could resonate with me. And there were a couple people that I was talking to on Discord that really wanted this issue resolved as well. So we're gonna try and solve it. That's what we've been working on. So yeah, let me think about what other context I can give Claude here. So maybe even I don't really want to get rid of all that, but be less tokens. And if you do think of anything, let me know. I'm all ears, ready to try something different out. So if we trying to think, scan it. Let me try this one. Let me see what this does at this point. User Phoenix Baker. So that should be at the top. So let's flip that. Label. What's in there? Phoenix Baker. Metric item. I'm not even sure this works, honestly, this part of things. Let me see. Yeah, so I don't think that works at all. Unless I just didn't have enough selected. to undo it that way. Undo that. Oop. Damn. Alright, I need to somehow unselect this. Click in the blank space. Boom. Alright, now I got a duplicate of that. So we got something to base our problems off of. So let me see how well this method's working comparatively to the other one. Wasn't that in group number 1? No, it was in group 3. Okay, that's interesting. Group 2. Wait, did it just like get rid of all the other groups? Group 1 doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, it just got rid of group 1. What was in group 1? Oh, just a background? That's why. Alright, that's why that got rid of that. Well, I have 0 experience, so better not ask me. I'm rather trying to understand. Coding is definitely not my strength. Yeah, coding isn't my strength either. I mean, I did a little bit of coding in college, but other than that, not so much. But this is all really like AI assisted. Should rather ask your other shy guys. Come on, man. You gotta encourage them to talk here then. I'm just kidding. You're doing some encouragement here in the chat just by talking. Shit, I think we might have needed that. You know what though? Actually, so that might have something to do with auto layout. Why that is happening like that. Because overall, this looks pretty good. Oh, you only know Java, man? Yeah, I only know C++, and my knowledge is very limited. It's kind of just like like I know like what different things are. Like I know what a for loop is, and variables and stuff like that. Yeah, and mine was from school too. I mean, I started a little bit on my own, just because I was interested in it, but Actually, no, it's probably majorly by myself and just reading books. But I was originally gonna do some coding stuff, but who knows? Alright, I'm gonna tilt this monitor back a little bit. Alright, so overall, I think this is keeping the structure that we need. It might be doing a better job than when I split the layers. Because when I split these test 3 methods, maybe honestly we just need to write more methods into this script. Because that just loses. Oh shoot. I don't know if that's loud in the background, if you can hear the smoke alarm, so I'm just gonna turn my microphone off. Alright, I think I turned the right mic back on. I really just want to get to the bottom of why it's doing this. I'm pretty sure it has to do with auto layout in Figma. So right now I have to learn RStudio for university, but that's rather for statistics. What is RStudio? I gotta look that up right now. I'll look that up on this. Oh, it's a programming language. Yeah, I never heard of this one before. Maybe it's more of like a database language? Is that what this is? Programming language R. Interesting. Oh yeah, it is for databases. Yeah, I figured if we're talking about statistics. Alright, so let me see if there's like an auto layout on one of these frames in here. Like this one right here. That's not the right frame. I also wish I had a better understanding of Figma too, because I don't have a massive understanding of the layout of Figma and everything, so everything I build is inside Davinci, really. It's like a self-made version of SSP in that type of software. I never heard of that either. SSP. Alright, so does this have auto layout on it? That's the whole block right there. Alright, auto layout. So what happens if we toggle that off? Does that just let us like drag around things or something? Yeah. I guess you can be happy about that. Oh, let me see something real quick though. Actually, does our tool still have? Yeah, it still has strip effects. Okay, good. So that is auto layout on it. So this frame is probably keeping all this stuff in line. So if we drag this outside of the frame, no, I got no fucking idea then. If that's not what's keeping this shit in line, I don't really know. What the fuck? Oh, the frame is the... That is like the solid right there. I guess we both suffer, but on different problems. Yeah, man, right? Life's all about suffering, though. It wouldn't be any fun if everything was, if you just knew what to do all the time. Be no fun in it, no challenge. So... That's what makes it eventful. Alright, figure where it's at. Alright, so we've established that this is the frame. So this is like a rectangle. So we need to keep this frame. So we actually can't even get rid of this frame to begin with. So the fact that I've been trying to get rid of all this stuff, that could be fucking everything up. So that's actually really good to know. One sec. Though sometimes, backtracking on that statement, I wish it didn't have to be that way, you know? Like, I wish some things would be easy sometimes. Might be nice for a change. But some things are easy. It's not everything's hard, but... Like, this for instance, if we could just, like, get through this today, I'm not sure we will or not, but, it would be pretty nice. Alright, so we've established that that's a frame that has information on it. So, let me see if that frame's being kept in this. I'm not even sure how we're going to check that because there's just too much information here. So... What is this frame's name? Just name frame? It's right here. Metric item. I don't know if that just made things better for us or worse for us with the fact that I just figured this out. Okay, so that's getting deleted. So that's part of the problem. So that probably makes things worse. Still, we need to rebuild this plugin again because I gotta figure out how we can. We're gonna need to just rethink this whole entire plugin, honestly, because the method that I was gonna do is not gonna work. So it could end up being possible that starting from scratch could end up being the best way, but we'll see. Give it a couple more attempts. Alright, for anybody new here, we are working on a Figma to Davinci Resolve plugin. It's kind of like Overlord is for After Effects. That's what we're trying to establish here. Running into an issue for the past couple days now, and we're just kind of trying to get around it, look forward a little bit. I think we might have to rethink some things here, maybe even start over. And that's kind of how it is in this building stuff. That's how it is. Sometimes you run into some issues, you realize that it might be easier to start from scratch, but we're not going to do that just yet. Going to do a little bit more. Probably honestly work on this for another day or two. We'll see before we make that decision. So I think if we no, it's all good, brother. At least Shy Guy gotta go. Hope somebody will overcome his shyness. Good luck, though. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for sticking around and being a not so shy guy. Appreciate it, brother. But yeah, let's see here. Let's see. Let's write down some of the stuff that we need to do because I feel like I'm getting kind of tripped up. So, here's what we know. We have our group like this. Nope, that's not the right one. Our group like this. We need to extend that real quick. If you guys are watching this, feel free to pop your head in the chat. Come say hi. Let me know what you're working on. So we Figma to Davinci. We need every layer slash group to have its own background. the biggest frame. What else do we know? Alright, we know that some frames are actually masks or solids, whatever you want to call it. Effects from Figma don't translate into Resolve. Images don't translate into Resolve in SVG format. We need some way of stripping the effects. What else do we know? Figma to Davinci, we need every layer / group to have its own background. Background equals biggest frame. Some frames are actually masks or solids, whatever you want to call it. This is how it would be in Davinci. So I'm speaking in Davinci language right now. This is all I know. So effects from Figma don't translate into Resolve. Images don't translate into Resolve in SVG format. So we need, when SVG files are brought into Resolve, they are very large and need to be organized with underlays. Help me out, chat. If you guys know any other issues from importing things from Figma into Davinci, that's a problem. One thing that I got resolved recently, some people showed me, some of my friends in Discord showed me that you can carry over text from Figma to Resolve, which is huge. But even then, that gets thrown into a massive group in Figma. We're just trying to automate this whole process, really. If you guys are still watching this, come drop a like. It really helps me get this video out to more of you guys. And also let me know what type of plugins in the chat, what type of plugins would really benefit you in your workflow in Davinci. Alright, so we need every layer group. So we're not going to be able to split this into layers like we wanted to. And this is going to have a lot of data too, so I'm just trying to... Like, if we maintain the same structure, we're going to end up exporting multiples of the same thing, I think. Like, for instance, maybe we should export in groups, but we need to figure out how to split things into groups so the SVG doesn't get that big. Need to break things down into groups so the SVGs don't get too large. So this is one option to just totally get rid of this, really, because that shouldn't be a problem anymore. Alright, here's what else we know. We need every layer group to have its own background. Background equals biggest frame. Some frames are actually masks or solids, whatever you want to call it. A lot of groups and different elements like frames, vectors have information on them that we need to keep. I mean, this is kind of obvious, but I don't know. The more information that we have helps. So we now know that we can't like just delete everything. Whereas before I thought I could delete like a lot of frames and do this, but we can't. So we gotta figure out another way that we can do this. Let me just feed this into Claude, see what happens. Actually can't. We do new chat, so we don't need tokens. We actually can't get rid of as many frames as I thought because some of the frames are a solid layer of sorts, like a mask. In Davinci. Here is what we know. Here is what we need to do. Only speaking the Figma side of things. So for Figma. Or no, let's not speak for Figma side of things. We need to break down these layers in we need to bring all the assets from Figma into Davinci, but we need to do it in a way that each asset that is carried over slash each group of assets has a background in it. That background is the largest frame on the whole entire comp. Okay, so that background is the largest frame on the whole entire comp. AKA the uppermost frame. We need to make this frame transparent and it needs to be instanced and brought into every single group. At the bottom of every single group. We also need a way to export this and bring it into Resolve, but Davinci reads SVG files differently. Let's start with Figma. Let me know what information you need from me. Get started. See what that does. let Claude do his thing. Let me first look at what's already been built in this project. Hopefully we back that up. But I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't back anything up. Alright, so I have a solid understanding of the existing plugin. Here's what I need to know before writing any new code. Root frame structure. When you say the largest uppermost frame, is this always the single top level frame on the page that contains everything? Or could the comp have multiple top level frames? I think it would only be one. Or no need to say usually, will be my selection when clicking tool and scanning the layers. Okay. 2. What counts as a group to inject into? Should the background be added into only the direct children of the roof frame? Well, the background just needs to be the lowest layer in each group. It doesn't need to go into different frames / groups inside each group. Ah, man, I need to maybe come back to that one because I'm not sure if that's gonna confuse Claude. Is the background frame a component instance? When you say the instance, is the background frame currently an instance component in Figma? Or this just precaution for what it might be? Yes, this is just a precaution. Sometimes it might be. And all layers need to be de-instanced before doing anything. So what I needed you to do is make the top most frame in the Figma comp the one I select and scan layers on. I need you to make a copy of it older than the uppermost frame version. Remove all fills so that an empty transparent frame, no visual content, just a bounding box. Or set opacity to 0. The goal of the background is very simple. So when we export each asset, when you bring it into Davinci, it retains all the position data and appears in the accurate location on screen. Okay, 5. Timing. When should this happen? Should adding the background be a separate prep for export button in the plugin modifies the Figma file, then you can undo, or happen silently during the export step so the Figma file stays untouched? It should be done before export. And I should be able to see the result in Figma. Alright, Davinci Resolve import method. When you bring SVGs into Resolve, you're dragging them into the media pool as individual clips, and they come in oversized because Resolve scales SVGs based on resolution, or the SVG's own width height attributes. Let's worry about this. And let's see. Davinci only lets you import SVG files one way. That is through the Fusion menu up top. And let me double check on this, what it exactly looks like.
Oh, I forgot. I gotta call. I forgot to call the dentist That's what I forgot to do, babe.
Alright, let me go into this random project. Fusion import SVG. You made it into the stream, babe.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Davinci only lets you import SVG files one way, and that is through the Fusion menu up top, and it only works on the Fusion page. Fusion import SVG. Okay. Otherwise, we can definitely not the proper punctuation and stuff here. Otherwise, we can copy and paste it in a very specific way, but we will worry about this later. Let's worry about getting the Figma portion set up for now. You can work on this a little bit. Alright, so let's see what we did for these questions. So, root frame structure. When you say the largest uppermost frame, is this always the single top level frame on the page that contains everything, or could the comp have multiple top level frames? So the top level frame will be my selection when clicking on the tool and scanning the layers. 2, what counts as a group to inject into? Should the background be added into? Well, the background just needs to be the lowest layer in each group. It doesn't need to go into the different frames / groups inside each group. I don't know. We'll just feed this to Davinci. Let me... Never used plane mode before, so we're going to see how this goes. Let me see what you understand from my responses before proceeding. Boom. Thank you for the 4 likes, guys. Appreciate it. If anybody's new here and hasn't been following along, we're building a Davinci Resolve Figma to Davinci plugin to help you get your motion design stuff over to Davinci, so that way you can animate it in Davinci, hypothetically with a click of a button. Not the animation part, but pushing stuff from Figma to Davinci. and we're just trying to figure out a way to. We've hit a couple of roadblocks along the way. Been stuck on this one thing for a couple days now, but hopefully we can figure it out. Oh yeah, so Spencer, just make sure you just caught that. I'm not sure if you did or not. I didn't see when you typed that in here, but I'm making a Figma to Davinci plugin. So if you ever seen the plugin Overlord, it basically just takes motion, or not motion, but graphics from Figma and pushes them into After Effects. That's what we're building for Davinci. What are you guys working on though? You guys got any projects going on? Also, I haven't said this in a little bit. If there's any plugins or things that would benefit you in your DaVinci workflow, let me know. Or any tools that you can think of that would benefit you in editing videos in general. Just let me know. Because we're going to be building some stuff, so you never know. The problem when you export groups from Figma as SVGs and bring them into DaVinci Resolve via Fusion import SVG. Each SVG is only sized to its own content bounds. DaVinci has no way to know where that content sits within the full composition, so everything is misaligned. The fixed background layer. Every exported group needs a background layer at the bottom that is the same size as the roof frame. Yup. So it covers the same exact area as that roof frame. Fully transparent, no fills, invisible, but present in the SVG. When Figma exports the SVG, it uses a bounding box of all children, including the background. So every SVG ends up the same size as the full comp. When DaVinci loads it, the content appears exactly where it should on screen. Position is preserved automatically. Alright, so that sounds good so far. I might just, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read the rest of this, but false alarm. I was gonna say I was gonna mute my mic because my daughter just woke up from a nap, but she's drinking some milk now, so she's better. Alright, the workflow in Figma. User selects the roof frame and scans. User runs split existing feature. Each layer becomes its own group. User adds new add background button. I don't even, honestly, we might be able to take this out. So I don't think we're gonna be able to do this anymore. We're gonna have to do this a different way. I'm not sure exactly what that way is yet, but we're gonna have to do something. User clicks new add background button. My mic's still on here, right? Yep. Okay. Where was I? User clicks new add background button. First, de-instances any instance nodes in the whole tree. Precaution. Identifies the root frame size and canvas position for each direct child. Group frame of the root creates a transparent rectangle, full comp size, names it BG, positions it at. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Okay, that's another issue too, right here. So, um, we might not need number 2 in the workflow for Figma anymore. Also, library. Bye. Alright, we might not need number 2 in the workflow for Figma anymore. The other thing, the original content's absolute positions don't change. They'll still be in the right place in export to SVG, but the groups will visually overlap in Figma. The side effect thing could be a problem. We will see. Let's go ahead and implement this. See how you did. Alright, so if you guys are tuned in here, if you guys are watching this, feel free to pop in the chat, come say hi. Let me know what you're working on, or if you have any ideas to kind of figure out what's going on here with this plugin if you've been following along. Let me know in the chat. It'd be really helpful. Let's go ahead and implement this, see how you did. Okay, let's go ahead and make it as permissions. I don't usually do this, but nah, you know what? We'll just push through. Yep. Boop, 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 boop. Also, if you're still watching along too, drop a like on the video. It helps me get this out to more of you guys. Keeps me going. Keeps me going and creating more content. So if you haven't already, drop a like. It really helps. And it's free. So, doesn't get better than that. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Bum, bum, bum. Also, where are you guys watching from? You guys all from the U.S. or where are you guys from? Mm-mm. Always allow for Project Local. Do 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 do. Alright, let's see if this worked. Figma. I'm gonna make sure I got a duplicate just in case something happens. Is this missing that? Oh yeah, this is missing that. So we need like an exact duplicate. So let me get a copy of this. There we go. Woo! Got a copy. Now we can boot this up. Scan selection. So many different things to do. Let me just add a background, see what happens. Alright, so I'm not sure if that added in this or this. But it did it. It did what we needed it to do. Either way. Wait a second. Did we already add this in? Hold on. Oh, so I think we already added in a background for the frame. I think we did exactly what we needed to do already here. So unintentionally I did that before already. And wait a second, is this... Did this added in as a rectangle? I wonder if that still works. Add a background that you just implemented makes it use a rectangle. We need it to be a frame. Alright, so let's see if this will work. Those of you new that are watching this video, we're making a Figma to Davinci Resolve plugin. Kind of like Overlord, that's what we're thinking here, in order to push things from Figma to Davinci, just like Overlord does for After Effects. Just gotta be careful with my token usage, make sure we're not blowing through our tokens here. Dude, I don't think we need a preview. Like, I don't know why it does this sometimes. Let me know if we need a preview on a project like this. I'm just gonna do it, but I think it's probably gonna end up being a waste of tokens. I don't even know if this needs something specific to run for the preview. It's not like we're looking at anything when Claude's booting up the preview. I can see the reasoning for that with like a website, but not here. No idea why that's doing it.
Actually get clicked. Instead of guessing, Clickly uses...
For years, I've refused to better myself as a web developer by the tool Stitch. If you've never heard of it, it's an infinite canvas tool that allows you to easily generate designs for your UI UX needs, like web pages and app screens. Designer Gary Simon is literally shaking right now.
If you are UI UX designer, you are living in the dark ages.
Because you don't need to start with a wireframe anymore. You just start with a vibe. You tell it what your product should be.
Taking a quick little YouTube break, was checking something out. I just saw a video. I didn't get to look at it yet, but I added it to my watch later on Remotion getting better. Did anybody see the new update for Remotion? Know what's going on with that? Alright, I think that's that. Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you guys are new here, we are creating or at least trying to create a Figma to Davinci Resolve plugin. This is like Overlord for After Effects, except for Davinci. Alright, so what we need is we're going to try the add background. So I'm not sure if this made which one. Let me go back and delete one of these. So it also needs to make the opacity 0. What are you guys working on at the moment? Other than watching this stream, what are you guys working on? You guys got any projects going on? What would be really helpful for you guys as far as workflow, plugins for Davinci or just video editing in general? Leave it in the comments. Do, 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 do. Okay, so now they both. It should probably take the stroke too. I imagine that might create some extra width, and then that might also distort our images or whatever upon transport to Davinci. The frame should literally be a copied version of the frame we have selected, if there is one. If not, make one for each group, like you've already done. Do, 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 do. If you're in here watching the video, come say hi, pop your head in the chat. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you want to see added into Davinci. What would make your editing workflow easier? I suppose it doesn't even need to do with editing either. Like, what would just make your overall workflow easier? Your day to day. Do, 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 do. Yeah, we don't need the fill. Wouldn't make a lot of sense. Alright, let's just hypothetically say we start making this so it's ready for export. Want to take a break from the Figma side of things. I want you to work on the export side of things. What does it do now? Let me see. Export all as a zip. Let's see what it does. No manifest, run scan first. Okay. Scan. Export all zip. Will it ask me full or folder? Alright, it asked me in that way. Oh, okay. Oh, so it already knows. Wait a second. Is that even fucking accurate? Oh, so that's a full version. Wow, okay. So this is breaking things down. I'm not sure what the fuck that is. Alright, so the problem with the way that it's exporting things, though, is we need all these files to have a background. Otherwise, it's just going to go off in its completely own location. So that's why we're doing the layer thing from before, but we had to scrap that idea. So I need to think, because this is the problem. I know I'm just kind of ranting to myself, guys. I'm just trying to I'm trying to figure something out. So basically, in Figma, when you export, this is the current problem with Figma. When you export out to Davinci Resolve, all the assets, so like all the assets here that it just exported out, if we bring these into Resolve, if I just go ahead and make a new Fusion comp, okay, we pop in here to the Fusion comp, we go to Fusion, import. One of the biggest problems is you can only import from that menu, so we need to make this tool import SVGs better, or just do that automatically for us. But the other thing is, unless this has resolved it, which it almost definitely has not, but who knows. If we bring in a background here, just make it transparent, And then I think our Figma frame is different size, so if we go to Figma and we look at the frame size, it's 1280 by 720. 1280 by 720. Wait a second, that might be the right location. Okay, so this might have worked. This might have worked. We might be getting somewhere. So let me just bring in. Let me bring in the full image. Do 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 do. Full version. Oh, but we 4x'd it, so we need to 4x this too. We need to 4x a lot of things, so let me not 4x that yet. Let me 4x this. So times 4 times 4. Now we get the full screen. And then hypothetically, which it's not, it's right up here. So let me see now if we 4x this, if this goes to the correct spot. And let me also maybe, if it'll let me change the color. Yeah, so that's not accurate. And that's one of the many problems with Figma to resolve. Let me see what that is in Figma though. Content 8649. Is this just a pause button? Ungroup that. So is there any reality where we change resolution here and this goes to the correct location? I don't think there is. So be based off position, and that's why we. Yeah, this is where it really gets complicated in building out this tool, because everything needs to come into resolve in a very specific way in order for this to even work properly. So when we export this, we need the backgrounds that we just made. Help maintain the position each individual layer. How can we export each file in a way that we can do this? Or will we need every layer to be individually grouped with the background? Because, like, if we were to, let's say we just take group 3, we would still need it to know, like, what's an SVG and what's an SVG and what's a photo, so, because otherwise it won't export properly. Let me show you. Group 3 SVG. Is that the SVG right there? Okay, so that's the SVG. Let's make this 4x bigger. Let's make this 4x bigger. And then it lands in the right spot. So that works. So, and the only problem is obviously that drop shadow or whatever that is, so we get rid of that. Because we need every layer every image and every SVG to be exported separately. Because Resolve doesn't play nice when all the files are SVG files. I want to take a break from the Figma side of things. I want you to work on the export side of things. So when we export this, we need the background frames that we just made to help maintain the position of each individual layer. How can we export each file in a way that we can do this? Or will we need every layer to be individually grouped with the background, because we need every image and every SVG to be exported separately, because Resolve doesn't play nice when all the files are SVG files. Image files, they turn black if they're brought in as an SVG. Are some different ways that we can think of to implement and fix this. Let me go into plan mode, because we definitely need to think this through more. There's just so much to think about. Damn, man, I'm seeing it again. Remotion. Do 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 do. Ba 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 na na. La 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 da da. Da na na. I'm not really sure what this means. Each layer exports as a PNG. Alright, guys, I think we're going to wrap up the stream here, but if you guys need help in Davinci Resolve outside of AI, inside of AI, as you can see, this is a very long process. So if you need help doing this or you need somebody to do it for you, feel free to check out my website. And if you're struggling with anything inside DaVinci or editing in general, again, check out my website. I launched a new program recently to help you guys out. I'm limiting this to 5 people. So, yeah, it's going to be limited. So, go ahead, check it out if you need some extra help. And I'll see you guys in the next stream, I guess. Yep. Alright. Peace.